Kind of along the same lines, a question for all of you. How do you guys feel about 3D printing your own firearms for your defense of your home and yourself?
Who wants to go?
About what?
3D printing firearms. I mean, it's part of the, I would agree with it, right? It's part of the Second Amendment, it's constitutional carry. If you want to 3D print firearms, I'm okay with it.
So it is being legislated away in certain jurisdictions,
New Jersey specifically.
including here in our state. 3D printing is, to the firearm world, what cryptocurrency is to the Federal Reserve. It's a direct attack on a centralized system. 3D printing is very well what may save our country. Like, this is not a joke. The fact of the matter is, like, look at all these truckers, right? Like, do you realize the Ottawa police are like now doing tactical training on storming truck structures? They're doing that right now. If you watch the videos, like, they're going to hurt people. Okay, they're going to jail people. They're going to go after their assets. They're going to do what they did to the January 6th crowd very shortly in Ottawa. Okay, do you understand how different that confrontation would be if all of those men and women had rifles? Like, don't underestimate the importance of that. Do you guys know where Coeur d'Alene, Idaho is? Yes. So in the Panhandle, right? It's a beautiful mountain town, like that you can see Canada, Washington, Montana, right? Beautiful town. When Antifa was running around burning San Francisco, Washington, D.C., New York City, Chicago, when they were engulfed in flames, women, man, black, white, Hispanic, were armed with rifles on slings, walking around the downtown of Coeur d'Alene. No police. Every citizen had a rifle slung, all high-fiving each other, and Antifa, the actual people with Massa, were like in a line at the edge of the block, and they basically said, let's go, come on. Guess what? There was no rioting in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And it has nothing to do with the government protect you. Don't ever forget the government has no legal duty to protect you. You are responsible for yourself. So 3D printing, like, that is one of the most important issues, and that's why when it's a threat to the hegemony of the state, they will criminalize it, right? What are you seeing happening with cryptocurrencies right now? They are doing everything they can to control it and make our American fiat dollar a cryptocurrency so that they can then cancel you whenever they feel like it. Oh, you came to a public meeting and you spoke out, your bank account's frozen. You didn't pay a fine on a speeding ticket, your bank account's frozen. You can't do anything. And if you voted for the infrastructure bill, your car will be turned off electronically in 2024.
It's true.
It's going to be the rule that they can shut off your car whenever they want.
Kill switch.
All right, so 3D printing is an issue that...
It's already in your car right now.
Right. It's an issue that you have to pay attention to. Like, if you guys know who Cody Wilson is? Okay, so Cody Wilson runs an organization called Defense Distributed. He pioneered the initial, like, Liberator pistol, which was like a small plastic 1 or 2 shot handgun. He has now engineered a CNC mill that can take an aluminum block and turn it into a lower receiver 100%. From a 0% block to a lower receiver for a mil-spec AR-15. Do you understand that that is way more powerful than the NRA, FPC, GOA, all the gun groups combined? There is nothing the federal government can do to stop you from going in your garage and printing yourself an AR-15. That is what cryptocurrency is to the Federal Reserve. It's a shot in the heart. So that is one of the most important issues that we as activists in the Second Amendment space or in the liberty space have to become more familiar with and advocate for. Because it is your right as an American to sit in your garage if you have a mill and make a handgun. You know that's not illegal so long as you're not a prohibited person by statute, right? But you can make a firearm. You can print a handgun or a rifle. And cryptocurrency, again, the reason that we talk about inflation is because the government just infinitely prints money, right? When Chris Smith votes for all these infrastructure bills, we have $10 trillion in debt in the last 10 years. That includes President Trump. So he's part of it. Obama, everybody, right? If you take away that ability of the government to just create money out of thin air, they have no power over you, right? They can't do anything. That's why there's such a violent and swift reaction to cryptocurrency, because you're eliminating their hegemony of the financial markets. So 3D printing, crypto, that's the future. That's the future not of this country, it's the future of the liberty movement in the world, to be honest.
I appreciate your honesty, man.
I'll say real quickly, David. So for the 3D printed firearms, there's still metal parts in it, right? So you're not going to be able to take like a polymer 80, which is the gun that's drawing the ire of the ATF right now, where they're trying to regulate these 80% pistols, which means like you can print, you can buy a kit where you have to chisel off like a couple of pieces and now it becomes a firearm. You can't bring any of those firearms into a stadium or airport or anything. It would set off a sensor the same way a retail Glock would or anything else.
Good.
But I'll just say to the analogy of you made the analogy about the shouting in the theater. I'll just say this distinction. It's not a one-to-one analogy in the sense of I have the ability to shout fire in a theater, right? I can walk into a theater, my vocal cords are wet, I can yell if I want to, there's nothing stopping me from exercising the ability to yell fire. Now there may be a consequence that's negative from me doing that, and I may face a consequence from that. The analogy would be, let me carry that gun into that theater. I won't shoot anyone, but don't take away my right to carry a gun into the theater. I think that's like really where the movement is like not sometimes framing this correctly, because then that becomes like a justification for, oh, well, we can't do here, we can't do there. I mean, a private property, you should be able to ban whatever you want. It's not my house, it's not my land or not my airplane, whatever. But that's like just an important distinction. It's not like, oh, those guns are hidden or you can't get through sensors or anything like that.
Good point, and I fully agree with you on
Yeah, yeah.
cryptocurrency.
Yeah, absolutely.